Mr. Bhatia, in case, because I have been visited by some CEOs who have said that private financing will not be attracted to Puerto Rico or to PREPA unless there is a federalization of PREPA. So my question, Mr. Bhatia, is federalization even allowed under the territorial clause of the United States?
That's the 800-pound gorilla. Let me move into the territorial clause of the United States briefly as a lawyer. Most people talk about the territorial clause and they don't know what it is. Article 4, Section 3 of the Constitution says something which I think is shameful for the United States. It says, the Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property. And I would like to say, given this opportunity, that Puerto Rico is not property, and Puerto Ricans are not property of anyone. That goes back to the 18th century. That's perhaps a mentality of slavery. And I would really consider the fact that a lot of Puerto Ricans are just offended by this whole concept of the power of Congress of Puerto Rico on this territorial clause concept of being a property. We're not property of anyone, and I think that's important to notice.
Thank you.
Let me make 2 points. One is, if we had enough solar panels on 50% of our homes, that would be enough. That would be enough energy generated with 50% of our households having just panels on the rooftops. Of course, we have a lot more land that can be used, and we have solar farms. So the acreage is not a problem. And in terms of the Constitution, I just wanted to clarify, because you made a point, that it says respecting the territory or other, and I underscore the word other property. So again, I just bring it up to the fact that this was a language from the 18th century, and we're using
the word or.
No, it says or other.
Or.
No, the Constitution says or other, and that means if you're or other, you're also property. It says territories or other property of the United States. And what I'm suggesting, sir, is, with all due respect, is that we should not see. It's shameful, and I am a U.S. citizen. It is shameful to actually treat Puerto Rico as property of anyone. And I think citizens of Puerto Rico, we should legislate for Puerto Rico outside that whole concept of having the territorial clause. I know it may be the subject of a different hearing, but I think we owe respect to our fellow citizens down in Puerto Rico, and we're not giving them that respect, given the nature of the fiscal board and everything else.
You coming in here arguing that is really not helping your case. I have a great respect for the people of Puerto Rico, and I want to see them prosper.
Sir,
making that argument does not help other Americans.
I would just finish by saying, if you had an oversight board, when you do the budget of the United States, if you had an oversight board coming from Russia or somewhere else or whatever it is, giving you and telling you what your budget should be, even though you approved one budget for the people of the United States, like I did 3 weeks ago, and having an oversight board basically saying, annulating that and saying, that budget will not go through, we will tell you what your budget is. I think that's shameful for the United States. What happened to government of the people and by the people? What happened to democratic values? And that's why I think this whole territorial issue should be addressed at some point. Thank you.
Look, I'm from Utah. I understand what it's like for the federal government to control other property.
Well, then help.
Mr. Gallego.